All right, hey YouTube. I'm here to give you a video and review about the Honey Pot menstrual cup. Now, I am new to menstrual cups. I am a beginner. This is my first time using any menstrual cup, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I want to tell you about my experience. So I remember hearing about the menstrual cups several months ago from a friend, and I just was not open-minded to it. I was just like, what? That's weird. Like a cup inside of you? No, I just was not being open-minded about it. But honestly, when I think about it, pads and tampons are pretty weird too. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that moment, I wasn't in the right mindset. But then I listened to a podcast from a friend of mine. It's called Super Cyto Girl, and they were talking about menstrual cups. And I just felt so empowered after listening to that podcast. I felt very open-minded. I felt like it would be a good thing to try. What's the worst that can happen? Like I may try it, not like it, whatever. So I just felt very empowered. So definitely check out the menstrual cup episode from Super Cyto Girl. I'll put her link in the description. But yeah, all the girls were talking about how they were using menstrual cups, and I just felt like it's something I wanted to try. So I messaged one of the girls because I went to school with all of them, and she told me she uses the brand Salt. Saalt. And I heard a lot about that brand, like just from looking online. But she also mentioned that Honey Pot had a menstrual cup as well. And I was like, you know what? Honey Pot is a Black owned company, and I'm all about Black business. So I said, you know what? Let me order this one. And the price was very reasonable. It was $21.99. I ordered it directly from the Honey Pot website, but you can get it from Target as well. It came in a few days. And so, yeah, I want to tell you about my experience with it. I definitely watched a lot of videos about how to put it in because that was interesting. The little directions, they don't really tell you a whole lot in the directions. There's not a ton of information here. It's just one two-sided pamphlet. They don't really tell you about how to take it out. So we'll talk about all of that. So I watched several videos about how to put it in, and there's all these different folds. This is what it looks like. I have used it. I put it back in the box just to be cute for the video. And it does have a little pouch so you can put it in after you're done using it. So this is a reusable cup. You know, you're supposed to be able to, wash it and reuse it. And of course, this is going to cut the cost of buying tampons and pads every month. It's going to cut, as far as like sanitation and like cut down how much waste, like you're wrapping your tampons in toilet paper and putting them in the trash can. You're wrapping pads up and putting them in the trash can. That's just adding to the waste. But you can wash this and reuse it over and over again. So there's all these different types of folds. So this is rubber, right? It just feels like rubber. So the first time I tried to use it, like I said, I'm a beginner, so I'm not ashamed to say it took me 30 minutes to put this thing in because I just could not get it. I had to watch some videos to figure it out. So the first fold I tried was the C fold, and that's simply squishing it down and just folding it like a taco, right? And I tried that because I was like, well, this just seems like the easiest fold to do in my hand. So why not try this, right? That did not work for me. You have to figure out what works for your body. So the C fold, like this, did not work for me. What worked for me was what they call the punch down, right? So it's literally just punching down one side and like squeezing it together. And it creates this like narrow tip. This is the tip that you would insert inside of you, right? So like when you're inserting it inside of you, this kind of mimics a tampon, like the size of a tampon in a way. So this was much easier to put inside of me. And then when my hands hit this part of my body, when this much was in, then I would like release it. There's also the 7 fold. I believe that's where you fold it like this and go down to create like the number 7. Like I said, that didn't work for me. I'm sticking with the push down because that's what worked for me. All right. The punch down worked for me. It also needs to be wet. That's another thing that I realized like I wasn't doing. Like it needs to be wet, like rinse it off. They talk about putting it in the shower, whatever. You really have to figure out what works for you. You may spend 30 to 45 minutes in the bathroom trying to figure out how to put this thing inside of you. And they also talk about like making sure you get a good seal, right? Because no matter how you put it in, what fold you use, you're folding it to put it inside of you. So you need to make sure it expands when it gets inside of you, right? So like for me, if I'm putting it inside of me, I have to make sure that it fully expands. Like right now, it's not fully expanded. So sometimes you have to kind of poke it around, squish it around to make sure that it opens up inside of you and get a good seal. Because I've watched a lot of videos about people talking about leaking. I didn't notice any leaking throughout the day. I must have meant I had a good seal. But I will tell you, you're going to get very acquainted with your body. by using one of these. So yeah, do what works for you. That may be sitting on the toilet. That may be standing up with one leg up. That's how I was doing it at first. And then throughout my time, I kind of figured out how to do it on the toilet. You can put it in and take it out in the shower. But yeah, you have to figure out what works for you as far as putting it in. Make sure you have a good seal. Definitely, if this is your first time, wear a panty liner or something if you're concerned about leakage. But I, like I said, this was really interesting to me just to like learn more about my body. So yeah, I managed to get it in. Managed to get a good seal, and it kind of just migrates up there. Like, I feel like your muscles kind of do this thing on the inside of you, and it kind of pushes its way up, because when it came for me to get it out, I was like, where is it? You're going to have to dig up inside yourself. Okay, that's just how it is. Like, it's not like a tampon where there's this string. Like, yes, this is here, but this is going to actually be like inside of you. Like, it's not going to just be hanging out the whole time. It doesn't hover like that. Your muscles like take that thing up. But it has nowhere to go, so it's not going to like migrate inside your body where you can't get it. So when it comes to taking it out, you have to stick your fingers up in your vagina and feel for this thing and I tug at it. And when I can get here, I kind of start to poke to release that suction and to release that air. And I just pull down. Because like I said, these directions don't give you any information about how to take it out. I guess they say you just pull it down. So you just pull it out. Now, this is what you don't want to do. Because I watched some videos and girls were talking about like bearing down, kind of like if you have to poop, or I guess if you were having a baby. I've never had a baby before, so I don't know how that is. But using your muscles to kind of push and like make this kind of push down so that you probably can get this easier. Do not bear down, do not push down. Like, if you force your body to push and there's nothing to push, there's no baby, there's no poop, you're going to get a hemorrhoid. Okay? So don't do that. Okay? Get acquainted with yourself. Stick your fingers up inside yourself and wiggle that thing out. And like I said, when you're sitting on the toilet, you're going to be coming down into the toilet. So don't worry about spilling it. And if you spill it, you're going to spill it in the toilet once again. And honestly, you're really not, I have a light period though, but you're really not producing that much blood. Like, anytime I've taken it out, there's been like this much liquid in there. Like, and it's very interesting to see like what your blood looks like in rare form, like in the natural. It's very thick. Well, my blood's thick. I mean, everybody's blood's probably different. Mine's very thick and it's very dark. Okay. So yeah, you take it out and then you just pour it into the toilet. Okay. And then of course you need to rinse it off and wash it off before you put it back inside. You can wear this for up to 12 hours. That's really cool for me because it's like you can just put it in and forget about it. There are 2 sizes. I think most companies have several sizes to choose from. I have a light period, so I went with the type 1. And even from listening to the podcast, several of the girls have had babies and they still said that the size 1 or the smaller size worked well for them because you're not producing as much blood as you think you are. It just seems like a lot because of how it's absorbed in the pad or the tampon. So size 1 has worked for me. You know, they talk about, like on the pamphlet, it talks about the size and how it's like, it said type 1 is for, recommended for women under 25. I'm 33. But like I said, I have a light period. So, and I've never had a baby. So this worked fine for me. Yeah, I think this has been a good thing. Like I said, I don't have anything to compare it to. If you've never tried a menstrual cup, I definitely think it's worth trying. To sanitize it, they recommend boiling it. I've heard lots of things about boiling it. So boiling it for 20 minutes to sanitize it, and then you're ready to use it again. And they have this cute little pouch that says honey pot that you can put it in and store it in until later. And like I said, I paid $20 for this and I can use this for however long. I think you can use these. I read it at some point. I can't remember. I mean, definitely for a year. I mean, you can use this and, you know, just keep washing it and sanitizing it. So, you know, I'm going to get a special pot, a special honey pot for boiling this because I feel weird about boiling this in the same pot that I cook my food in. It's weird. So I'm going to get a special pot for this. But this, like I said, I did hand wash it, but I'm going to get a special pot to sanitize it. So if you've never tried a menstrual cup before, definitely try it. I feel pretty satisfied with this right now. I don't know if I'm going to try another one or not. I don't really have a lot of complaints about this particular cup. I think it's all about just getting acquainted with using it and getting acquainted with your body and figuring out what works for you. There's lots of videos out there where people are comparing the different ones. Most of them are shaped like this. Some of them may or may not have this little tippy thing. All of them have little air holes on the side to help with suction. So they're all similar. Some of them are a little more flexible. Like this one's probably a little more firm. Like I think Salt has like a thin one, or soft, I think it's called a soft cup, where it's probably softer. So yeah, you just have to find what works for you, but definitely give it a try.